Detroit is the nation's most exciting city. An underdog, upstart, a city on the rise. Michigan is the comeback state, reclaiming its spot in the national economic powerhouse. There's a constant between those two, and that's the Detroit region. Not too long ago, Detroit had been left for dead. Michigan had borne the brunt of the Great Recession. Our signature city was the poster child of urban decay, and our region and state mourned in a nationwide eulogy for the Rust Belt. But looking at the Detroit region, today the headlines tell a very different story. You can't go a week without seeing some kind of momentum. In fact, between the time that our chamber team finished this publication last week and tonight, there were even more good headlines. Like travel and leisure, naming Detroit among the best of 50 places in the world to visit in 2016. And here's what they wrote. In a few short years, Detroit has gone from being a cautionary tale to a success story. Detroit might not be able to sell its comeback story for much longer. It's decidedly back. Or Gogobot, ranking Detroit as the most underrated city, saying one of the biggest surprises is how many old industrial towns make the list, and the Rust Belt is set to shine once more. So what's the key to this remarkable turnaround? It's the disparate parts that make up our region. It's the cities, it's the counties, it's the universities, the companies, philanthropy. The same region that put the world on wheels and armed the arsenal of democracy. We learned about ourselves in this process, and the most important lesson is that we're stronger together. And a win for the region is a win for all. Why are regions important? Well, we learned a lot through this process. Regions are very important. And anyone who tells you otherwise hasn't been watching global business. Regions are very important because in the 21st century global market, boundaries don't matter. Investment, talent, and commerce don't stop at the city limits or the county line. They flow into the regions that offer the best climate for business, the best neighborhoods for raising your children, and the best communities for quality of life. The mindset of city versus city and county versus county is obsolete. The economic development game is being played at a higher level, and it's region versus region. And if you're not coordinated as a region, if you're not telling a cohesive story, you're not in the game. Case in point, there are 20 plus cities in the world with 20 million people. There's 400 cities with more than 1 million people. So if we go to market with only Detroit and its 680,000 people, that's 320,000 people from allowing us to be in the top 400 cities. But if we go to market as a region with our 5 million residents and 300,000 companies, it tells a much more compelling story. We also learned why regions are so important to our overall makeup and comprehensive makeup as a region here. Just to review for everyone, and I know most of you know this, but our region is 11 counties. It's 7,000 square miles. It has a population of 5.4 million with 300,000 businesses, of which 13 are Fortune 500 companies. This state of the region gives you an in-depth analysis of this amazing region that we call home. The key economic indicators are there, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and yes, the challenges for our region. The driving force behind the report, just so you do understand why the Chamber started this, is to compile data so that we can collectively tell our regional story of economic performance, but also to inspire regional collaboration for continued growth and sustainability. And in the second year, we're adding even more to this effort. It's not enough to just compile the data. We need to make it available for anyone and everyone in the region who wants to use it to bolster their business or to be able to tell that great story to the next investor. Newly this year, we've created quarterly data updates that you can access, as well as an online customized data report function through the Chamber's website. We've also put together a toolkit that will be presenting to economic development partners, local and ethnic chambers of commerce, as well as other regional champions who want to be able to talk more widespread about the right message about our region and promote it as widely as possible. In the upcoming years, we're only going to enhance this experience. This is just scratching the surface of what we're going to do to be able to share the data about our region and make it more widely known. I'm going to cover a few highlights like I did with the annual report, but there's so much more in your State of the Region report. So let's dive right in. Gross domestic product. This is the number that the economists love because it shows the overall size of our economic output, and we're performing well. Up 18% since 2009. Our growth outpaces the national average and leaves us second only to Dallas among our peer regions. Job growth. We're holding our own. Since 2009, we gained 186,000 private sector jobs, outpacing the nation by 4.4%. However, after strong growth rates immediately following the recession, the region is returning to a more normal growth rate, similar to the national rate. This past year, job growth was 2.2%, and that puts us in the middle of the pack nationally. Unemployment has dropped dramatically in the past year from 9.5% to 6.7%. And while we still lag behind the national average, we've closed the gap by more than 2% this past year. Income. Income levels are the best indicator of quality of life and the capacity to spend. Income has grown 13%, as you can see, since 2009, outpacing the nation by 3.6% and placing us in second amongst our regional peer group. However, that momentum has slowed. The last year-over-year growth shows a slowing of income growth compared to our peers and compared to the national rate. With real estate, from industrial to residential, we have a lot of ground to make up, but we're closing the gap quickly. Our industrial vacancy rate has declined 6.9% since 2010, outpacing the national average. In fact, the second quarter of 2015, we have drawn even with the national average. And with median home values, we've led our peer regions with a 13.2% increase when comparing 2013 and 2014. And now the slide that really puts the numbers to the anecdotal evidence about our region's momentum, foreign direct investment. One of the most important because it reflects new money coming into our region. In 2014, 109 foreign firms announced investments of $3.9 billion and over 15,000 jobs. In fact, there are nearly 1,300 international business locations in our region led by Japan and Germany, which together account for over 600 of those locations. Further evidence of our region's potential in a global economy is international trade. The Detroit region exported $50 billion in goods in 2014. That's 70% of the entire state's exports. We research things, we design them, we build them, and then we sell them to the world. There is a bit of bad news, though, however, as you hear this news, which does further reinforce why I say we can't be complacent as a region. Chicago has surpassed us as #1 with exports to Canada. Detroit's overall exports are down, especially transportation equipment. Further proof that global competition is not going to cease. We lead our peer regions in STEM job growth. In fact, we're first for mechanical engineers, industrial engineers, and engineering technicians. Employers demand innovative technologies, and we have the talent to deliver it, for now. We have to work together as a region to make sure that we sustain the talent pipeline. Occupations that have experienced the largest growth: engineers, drafters, engineering technicians, and computer careers. That reflects the level of innovation in this region. And to support that, we were awarded 3,000 utility patents in the last year, the most ever recorded in a single year. Now here's the good news, bad news slide. While we are home to world-class universities that continue to award degrees at the 9th highest rate in the nation, we're still lagging behind our peers in educational attainment. In fact, we're dead last in the percentage of people 25 years or older earning a bachelor's degree or higher. While the Chamber is working with other like-minded organizations to address this, it should be a warning to us all. Because if there is anything that will keep momentum going, it's an educated population and workforce. If we don't reverse this trend, I don't want to be here in 10 years doing this State of the Region report, because it'll be a heartbreaking story of a missed opportunity. So why does all this matter? Well, as some of the numbers I just showed you indicate, our region has roared back since 2009, leading our peers and outpacing the nation in so many key economic categories. But we can't forget the fact that in many cases, we have fallen far behind. Our hard times were harder, and we had more ground to make up. So while we have a lot to celebrate, and we should, we can't be complacent. The region continues to grow, but we're growing at a slower rate than we saw just after the recession. And as I mentioned back at the beginning, as a region, we're going to have to grow faster than other regions in the nation, or else we're always going to lag. So this report is a step towards developing a cohesive regional approach that we will need in order to promote our region overall and to ensure that our region continues to grow and prosper. This report provides information to tell our collective story to the whole world. This report provides focus that we need in order to pursue sustainable growth for our region. And this report guides us in our strategy to create a region that we will all be proud of in the future. What we are hoping is that you take this report, you listen to these numbers and more you hear tonight, and please, please go out and tell our story. Thank you.